Here's how to create an interesting user feedback form with conditional logic using Bricksforge Pro Forms. Now let's take a look at an example. Here's an example of a feedback form where the user fills in their name, and depending on the rating stars, it either takes them to a new page where they can fill in some extra information, or they can just directly submit if it is a high rating. So they can just go and press submit. As a bonus, I'll be showing you how you can do some conditional redirects using dynamic shortcodes. So when the rating is 4 stars and I press submit, it takes me to the thank you page with my name. But if the rating was below 3 stars, so let's say 2 or 1 star, it takes me to the next page. And when I fill in some information and I press submit, it takes me to a completely different page. If that is something that interests you, then give the video a thumbs up and we'll go right into Bricks Builder. So here we are in the Bricks editor. I'll be using some keyboard shortcuts. So the first thing we need to do is add in our Pro form. So make sure the heading is selected. I'll press Ctrl-Shift-E on the Windows and search for Pro Form. Press the Tab key and then I'll click to enter. Now we have our Pro form. The next thing I'll do is add a class name just to make sure that everything is styled. Add DDJ Pro Form. This is a class name that I added myself just to increase the label font size. The next thing we need to do is add in our fields. So the first field is for the user's name. So I'll just call that name. Then the next field is for rating. So I'll delete this email for now. And I want to add Ctrl-Shift-E. And I'm searching for the rating field. It's the one with the solid icon. That's the rating. And then the last one will be for the message in case the rating is too low. So for the name field, I'll set the custom ID to name. The label will be name. That's okay. We don't need to do any other thing. For the rating, I'll set the custom ID to be rating in all small letters. Then the label will also be rating. Then the next thing I want to do is to go to the style tab and make sure I choose the rating icon. So I'll click on the icon. You can choose either an SVG or one of the font awesome icons or anyone you want. So I'll choose the font awesome icon and I'll search for the star. Okay. The rating is there. You can also define what is the maximum rating and the default rating. So I'll say the maximum is 5 stars. The default is maybe 4 stars. Just so that people have the temptation to give me a higher rating. Okay, so we have those. Let me save that. Next one is the text area for the message. And I'll give under general, the custom ID will be message. And the label will be how can we improve? Something like that. Okay, so I'll save it. And the first step is done. Now, the next thing we need to do is add our steps and our buttons. So let's take a look. To add the steps, we need a step field. So I'll search for the step field. Then we also need the buttons for the next and the previous. So I'll look for the previous field and the next field. So the way it works is we need the next button, then the step, and the previous button can be after everything. So the message is going to be on the next page. So I put that after the step. So those two are important. You need the next step and you need an actual step element. When those two are there, then it should work out well. So the other thing we will now do is, because we want to add a button that shows submit, we'll now duplicate the actual submit button. Just duplicate that. Move that to the top. And this time we'll now put the next inside the submit wrapper. So we now have the name, rating, the next step, or the submit button. We now have to do some conditional logic for those two buttons. If the rating satisfies one condition, then we go to the next step and continue. If it satisfies the other condition, then we just do the submit. So this is how it works. Then we can now add our conditional logic. So I'll use the conditional wrapper, one for the next step and the other for the submit button. Let me drag them into place, put the next step inside the conditional wrapper, the submit button into the other conditional wrapper. Now I'll go to the first conditional wrapper and I'll choose the conditions, add condition, then add item. And I want to say that the condition is that if the form field, which is the rating field, I'll copy the ID, paste that there. If it is less than 3, that is 2 or below, then the next step should show up. So I'll put less than, and then I'll say 3. Then the next conditional wrapper, I'll do something similar. So add condition, add item, and this time I'll say the condition is the form field, which is the rating field. If it is greater than or equal to 3, then the submit button should show up. That is the first step. Then the next step is we need to also hide the entire step in another conditional wrapper. So I'll put the next step and I'll say add conditions, add item, and the same condition we're doing. So that's the form field, the rating. If it is less than 3, so it's the same step as the next step. So the next step and the step are combined together. If the rating is less than 3, that is 2 or 1, then the next step should show up as well as the step itself. Okay. Then we can just go ahead and do some styling. So on the submit wrapper, we can make it a row and make it to be centered on the cross axis. Okay. Let me save that. And we'll go ahead and see if it works. So let's go to the front end. And now I'll put my name, David. And let's see if I put 2. See, now the next step shows up. If I put 4, the submit button shows up. Let's say 2 and next step. And we get to our next step and so on. So that is how to add the conditional logic so that it only goes to the next step if the rating is like not reaching the maximum that we need. So all I have to do now is also make some styles for the previous and the submit button, make them also to be in a row, and so everything looks nice. Let me add some gap. So just do var the card space. Okay. Now we have some nice spacing. Save it. For the next and submit, we don't really need to do any styling because only one button will show at a time. Okay. All we have to do now is go to our form and we can go ahead and add the action, whatever action we need. So here comes the bonus point, which is the conditional logic for the redirect. So I'm going to add some conditional logic so that it shows a different page depending on what the user has selected. So to do that, let me get rid of the email and I'll just say redirect. And I'll go under the redirect tab and I'm supposed to add a condition. Right now, there is no option for conditional logic, but thanks to dynamic shortcodes, you can add some conditional logic. So let me go ahead and create a shortcode. So I'll go under power shortcode and you see the shortcode that I created. The shortcode just basically says if the rating is greater than 3, then go to the thank you page. Otherwise, go to an alternate page. The thank you page just has the ID of 1572, whereas the alternate page is just my other website. So that's all I need to do. And then I'll just have to copy the shortcode, and I have to put in just two keys, so the rating and the name. So let's go back, and all I have to do is just paste that shortcode here, put at the field is equal to, then let me copy the key for my rating, and then I'll paste it in there. The next field is the name field, so name equal to, and I'll copy the name, and I'll go ahead and paste it in there. And that's basically it. So let me go ahead and save, and I'll preview on front end, and we can then try it out. So if I say my name is David or Joshua, put 2 stars. Next step, if I put in some random information and I press submit, it takes me to the alternate page, which is my DaveDen homepage. Whereas if I put 4 stars and I put maybe bright, submit, it takes me to the thank you page. Okay, I made a mistake. It's showing null right now. And that's because the key is wrong. The key should be name, because I didn't refresh the page. I need to refresh the page first. And then I can go to the Pro Forms again, and then go under the redirect and make sure the key is right. So I'll go to the copy key, and I'll paste the key there, which is down called name. Save it, and we can try again. Refresh, go back, and this time I'll say David, submit, and see, thank you, David, because what's happening is that I'm adding it as a URL parameter. So your name equal to David, and the rating is equal to 4. So I'm now using those 2 fields to populate the thank you page. And yeah, that's how easy it is to create some conditional logic in your user feedback form. If you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed to the channel already, make sure you subscribe so you can get more videos like this. And until next time, keep designing. Bye.